One of the questions we hear a lot is people will call and start a conversation. They ask us, do you provide free estimates? Or if they're really trying to be technical, they'll say, do you give bids? Usually what people are asking is, how much do you really think my kitchen remodel project or my bath remodel project is going to cost me? There is a point in our process that we do not charge anything to the client to provide some basic budget scenarios for what their project would take. There is a point that we cross a line where we say, okay, we've done our due diligence, we've looked at your home, we've asked you the appropriate questions as far as what you want to do, because it kind of comes back to that saying, garbage in, garbage out. We can give you a price, but if that's not based on some factual information and some deeper digging to find out what you're after, then what good is that going to really be? A typical client will call into our office and have an initial conversation with the designer. And we'll start out asking those questions, you know, how long have you been in your home? How long do you plan to stay in your home? Do you have a deadline of when you're trying to have your remodel project done? But then we'll usually get around to, we typically like to do a first physical appointment at our showroom. We've got about 2,700 square feet of a beautiful space here. A lot of times we hear clients say that they have difficulty visualizing what their kitchen or their bathroom or their laundry room might look like with new ideas and a new footprint. And so that's the beauty of having our showroom. It's a powerful tool to be able to have people come in and see things and touch them and just provide them with some creative ideas. And so we'll usually set that appointment. The other thing we do is we're big believers in giving our clients homework. So we'll ask them to bring some pictures of their space. We'll even ask them if they're comfortable. It doesn't have to be a scaled drawing, but if they can just kind of sketch out what their floor plan is and what they're considering doing, that just helps to accelerate the communication of information as far as what they're trying to do, what they've thought of, what they've tried and how to fix it, what doesn't make sense, and those kinds of things. And then we'll, from that step, once we've explained our process, if they want to move forward, we'll set that site visit at their home. Well, when they come into the store, they're going to meet we currently have 3 designers. Ironically, we're all about the same age, so we're pretty seasoned. I like to look at that as a positive.
It is.
So they would meet face-to-face with that designer, and that's the designer that's going to go with them from the time they walk in the door all the way through completion of the project. The beauty of being focused on kitchen and bath remodel is that, you know, we do over 100 projects a year, and so we get to see a lot come through. And we know what are the things that we need. Honestly, some of that school of hard knocks is that I didn't know that that door being located there is going to collide with whatever that is. And so some of that is at over 100 projects a year, we get to learn that and we collaborate. We believe strongly in collaboration, not only with our design team, but our production team, just to figure things out and work together for solutions when they do happen. So you're in good hands with our team. Now, there will come a point in there when we actually move the project from the design sales portion of our process to the actual production part of the process, where we have our own, you know, W-2 employees on our production team that does the project. And the beauty in that is that it's seamless as far as you don't have one party designing and somebody else doing the installation, because what we find is that can lead to finger pointing that this wasn't correct or that wasn't correct. That's what I like about our model, is that we're responsible for the whole 9 yards. If there's an issue, you're calling us. We get to deal with it. Well, one of the things that we do that's pretty unique is that in our contract, we give somebody an anticipated start date. So that date goes on our production calendar when they sign a design retainer. So we're typically scheduled out. We usually run about 3 months out from the time we sign a contract to the time we're actually doing the project for the client. The other thing we do is that we also put in a substantially completed date into that as well. So there's very few contractors that I'm aware of that will provide you with not only a start date, but a substantially complete date. We're pretty adamant about scheduling, and a lot of that is because of our database of times, as well as materials and any trades that we have involved. So it's a pretty choreographed schedule that we put together for a project, and those are basically our estimating software kicks out how many days that project should take. And our goal is to hit that number 93% of the time on our projects.
93.
Yep.